ever feel like you're constantly collecting things from the outside world? Advice, approval, knowledge, hoping that one day it will all be enough to make you feel whole? But what if the source of everything you're looking for isn't out there at all? Today we share a story about this very journey, a story about finding the wellspring within. Welcome to Seeker of Light, a space for peace, clarity, and hope. Let your soul breathe.
There once was a young soul named Clara, who lived in a world brimming with noise, advice, and endless streams of information. She felt like a traveler in a vast desert, holding an empty bucket, desperately searching for an oasis. She read every book on success, listened to every guru, and collected opinions like rare stones. She believed that if she could just gather enough from the outside world, her bucket would finally be full and she would feel whole. But with every drop she added, the bucket seemed to grow heavier, not fuller. The water of others' wisdom would evaporate under the heat of her own doubt, leaving only the dry dust of confusion. She was resourceful, but she was not her own resource. One day, weary and discouraged, she wandered into an old, forgotten garden. There, she met an elderly gardener whose hands were wrinkled like the bark of an ancient tree, but whose eyes held the clarity of a spring morning. Clara told him of her quest, her empty bucket, and her exhaustion. The gardener listened patiently. When she finished, he smiled gently and said, "You are searching for wells all over the desert, my child, when you have carried a spring within you all along." He pointed to a small, unassuming seed in his palm. Wisdom is not something you collect, it is something you cultivate. Knowledge from the outside is the rain, but the seed of understanding must be your own. This encounter shifted something deep within Clara. She stopped searching for new wells and began to tend to her own inner garden. The books she read were no longer just for collection. She let their ideas seep into her soil, questioning them, connecting them to her own experiences. The time she spent in nature was no longer an escape, but a conversation. She learned the patience of the mountains, the resilience of the trees, and the effortless flow of the river. Every experience, every joy, every heartbreak was no longer just an event, but water and sunlight for the seed within her. She learned to listen to the quiet voice of her own intuition, a voice she had drowned out for so long with the noise of the world. Then, a great storm hit her life. A project she had poured her heart into failed. A friendship she cherished drifted away, and she was left standing in the rubble of her expectations. In the past, This would have sent her running into the desert, desperately searching for someone else's water to soothe her pain. But this time was different. In the quiet after the storm, in the very heart of her sorrow, she felt it, a gentle, persistent bubbling from deep within. It was her spring. It was the wisdom she had cultivated, the strength she had nurtured, the peace she had allowed to grow. It did not offer easy answers, but it offered clarity. It did not erase the pain, but it offered the resilience to endure it.
Clara finally understood. The world could offer its rain, its storms, and its sunshine. But she was the gardener of her own soul. She was the wellspring. Her bucket was no longer for collecting, but for sharing the water that flowed endlessly from within. To become your own greatest resource is not to have all the answers. It is to trust that you have the ability to find them, to create them, to become them. It is to know that no matter how barren the desert around you may seem, you carry an eternal spring within your own heart.
Thank you for sharing this moment with us. May you find the courage to tend to your own garden and trust in the well within. Let your soul breathe. Subscribe for more stories from the Seeker of Light.